Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for XRP. Looks like we're finally moving. If you're in the trade, congratulations. Now, going off last video, I bought into this area not knowing the exact count, and this is a exact situation I mentioned where we don't necessarily need to know the exact count, but we have a bias based on the previous price history of the direction that the wave is going to go. So that's what I relied on here. And as you can see, this is one of the most hardest charts you can find in the crypto market to try and analyze. A lot of three waves, a lot of WXYs. So I was focusing more on fib levels and extensions based on Fibonacci of the previous waves. That's all I've been able to do in this area. So as of right now, we had a three-wave move to the upside, three-wave move to the downside. Potentially complete where we don't come back to these levels, but there is still areas where we can reject back below this Y wave. So just taking this wave by wave. Now positives here is we might break this trend line very soon, which is very positive. It's been held since the high back in 2021. So if we can get up and over this, I would get quite bullish on these potentials. Now, important things to pay attention to, this is why we were bullish in these areas, is we were respecting 618 retracements. 618 off that move right there got rejected. Got this move up, respected the 618. So we want to continue to do that on the way up. Most likely going to make choppy structures similar to previously, but there are areas I'm paying attention to. Okay. So as per time guidelines, last video I suggested that we were making a expanded B wave coming into this B zone between 113 and 127. This to me is the ideal setup if we get this move up to this area, get a retrace back above that trend line and take off from there. Reason I suggest that we need this is the only way we go straight up is if this entire wave right here, this three-wave pattern, this was all of our correction, which does not look correct, right? It doesn't look like that fits. We need more correction in time. So I expanded out to the 1-to-1 in time there, and that would give us our running flat as a ABC or a WXY before we take off, get that retrace we talked about. Other things to keep in mind is if we don't break this high on the W wave, we can be in the middle of a correction where this is our three-wave move, and then we attempt a new high if we get rejected at this trend line. So that's the next scenario I'm keeping in mind if we get rejected here. If you're in the trade, though, there's no way you should get stopped out at a loss. You should be raising your stops as you go. So those are the scenarios I'm currently watching. I want to see this at least come up between 113 and 127, in which case I might take profit. I want to see what this wave count ends up being. It's going to be difficult either way because most likely if we come to that area and we get this retest of this trend line, it would look like these previous ones, just very fast sell-offs, very difficult to get out on before recovering. So we'll go down to the smaller time frames and we'll talk about what's happening here, but realize all I'm tracking right now is an A, B, C, and then we get our C wave. This makes a corrective move where we make a higher high and protect the previous low, and then we launch. And that Y wave eventually, don't know how we're going to get there yet, is up there at 557 on log scale. That's the 1-to-1 extension of this W wave off this three-wave correction up in that area. Okay, so let's go down to the 4-hour. So right now, looking to make a matching leg to this wave here. Like I said, we're in the middle of most likely a flat before attempting new highs. The original trade setup I took is there. Just targeting that 1-to-1 originally in case we fail and then attempt a new high. And that was a 5-to-1 trade setup. Very complex correction. I can count it again as a WXY or a diagonal. Very difficult. But it does matter which one we get. We'll see how impulsive this wave gets, because if this ends up being a diagonal, we would be looking for 5 waves up here. And we get up to that zone. If it's a WXY, we would probably come up a little bit shy of that. So is this a flat as an ABC in 5, or is it a WXY? We're not going to know until this gets moving. We have to use price action here. But positives, we did go above this trend line and retested it and broke above. So this is looking very good potentially. And I'll show you where I've adjusted my stops. So you can watch my previous videos, but all I had this labeled as was a WXY. My stop was at the low. Based on those larger time frames, I was expecting moves to the upside. Wasn't sure how, but I knew we need to protect that low to keep that intact. Again, this can be a diagonal. We get a series of 3s. ABC, ABC. But it's very ugly, right? Very, very ugly. Right now, I just have it labeled as a WXY with an expanded flat Y wave, just because it fixes the structure a little bit. The alternative is we had that diagonal in a very quick correction. So as of right now, targeting this as an ABC, looking for 5 up here. That closest target is 86 cents. And as of right now, I've raised my stop up to this level. So there's no way you should be losing money currently. If it turns against us. So just going to be keep analyzing this as we go till something becomes clear. There's no reason you should hold on past 58.30 currently. I wish it was a cleaner wave count, but this is what we have. And again, if this ends up being a diagonal, we would expect 5 waves up. So we look for this to be a 1, 2. Get this to be extended up. We'd come to the 2, 3, 6 for our third wave, like so. We'd then correct at these previous highs and look for that 1.618, and that would be a 5 wave move, and this would become a flat as a B wave before potentially that matching leg here for this A wave. So those are the areas I'm paying attention to. I'm not going to take profit at 86 cents. I want to see the reaction there, but I will probably raise my stop to the 50 of this potential 5 wave move on the micro right here, just to protect some of my profit. So it would probably be something like this. If we get those 5 waves filled out from this low, as a third wave, I'd put my stop probably at the 50. Because if it's a 4th wave, we shouldn't pass the 50. Just past it, wherever it ends up hitting, the 1.236. That's my stop would be right past that. All right, so looking for this flat pattern to fill out. And yeah, looks good. Glad we got this trade set up. Looking for this to break this trend line and not reject. Very important. Because as soon as we break this A wave high, this can be considered a flat, and that's the possibility where we come back down. That's why it's very important to raise your stop to that level, because that can easily happen very quickly. All right, guys, so bias is still to the upside. No clean wave count, obviously, but should get stopped out in profit if it goes against us. All right, guys, that's it for XRP. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.